Hey guys, Jeff Davis here, coming to you from Rotterdam, Netherlands. And in today's video, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is a prolific author. He's a professional speaker. He speaks all around the world. He's an entrepreneur. He's a coach. The list goes on and on. He's an incredible guy. He teaches success, leadership, time management, improving your business, writing books, and just about anything you can think of in terms of raising your life to a higher level. Definitely check out his website, briantracy.com, if you'd like to learn more about him. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 of his best and most useful success tips. Now, over the last 7 years of my life, I have read his books, I've watched his YouTube videos, I've read his blog posts, I've listened to his audio programs, and I've learned so much from him, and I've applied those tips in my life. So I'd like to share 5 of the best tips that I've learned from Brian Tracy so that you can then take the tips yourself and run with them and then see your own success being lifted to a higher level. First thing that I want to share with you off the bat from Brian Tracy is it's important to find the hidden opportunity in your setbacks. Find the hidden opportunity in your setbacks. We all experience unexpected ups and downs. I mean, life is tough. Life can be brutal. Life can really be hard on you sometimes. I get it, and it's hard on all of us. The winner in life, as Brian Tracy teaches, will look for that hidden opportunity, that benefit that's embedded in the setback. And it's a lot easier said than done, I know, especially when you're experiencing the difficulty. But if you can train your mind to think about what's the hidden opportunity here, what's that hidden benefit? Is it a lesson? Is it a particular door that opened, even though one door closed, there might be another door that opened? Is it a new person that you can meet? There might be some kind of hidden opportunity there. And I promise you that if you really look for the hidden opportunity, you will find it. I learned this from Brian, and at first I was like, is this really true? And then I started to look for that hidden opportunity in all of my setbacks, and I realized, wow, this is a really powerful tip. I had a really difficult experience with my college baseball team. I won't go into the details in this video, but the hidden opportunity is that I ended up studying abroad for an entire year in Budapest, Hungary, and it was one of the best years of my life. So college baseball didn't work out. I was on the team, but I didn't get any playing time. I didn't really like most of the players on the team because of the way they treated others poorly, and the coach wasn't the best coach in the world. But I used the hidden opportunity in terms of studying abroad to broaden my horizons, and it turned out to be an incredible year. So that's just one quick example that I'm using for your benefit as you think about what is the hidden opportunity in my setbacks. Next tip from Brian Tracy that I'd like to go into is to find clarity. Seek clarity and figure out where you're going. Now, this sounds simple. It's deceptively simple, yet incredibly powerful. Brian Tracy will say, you can't hit a target that you can't see. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So when you seek clarity and you define what are your goals, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What's your vision? That's how you can really start to piece together your daily habits and efforts to work towards an overarching vision. So very powerful. Third success tip from Brian Tracy that I'd like to share with you here today is to ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. Ask respectfully, ask courteously, but never, ever be afraid to ask for what you want. Now, I want to give you a couple really quick examples here. I applied this tip with Brian Tracy directly. I have published 3 books now, going on my 4th, but my second book was called Reach Your Mountaintop. And I decided to take a risk, a positive, well-calculated risk. I reached out to Brian directly, asking for him to review and provide a testimonial of this second book, Reach Your Mountaintop. Now, I hadn't had any previous direct communication with him, although I had interacted with his team. And I knew it was a big risk, but I was very authentic in the email, and I told him how much he's impacted my life, and he ended up providing a review of this book. Incredible. He's one of the greatest success experts of all time, and just by asking, I was able to get a review from him on my book. Another great example is that I asked my previous company if I could work remotely living in Rotterdam, Netherlands, and it was a huge thing to ask. I was definitely afraid because my previous company didn't really provide that many work remote opportunities, but I knew from Brian Tracy's wisdom that if I could ask respectfully, courteously, and intelligently, yet at the same time with confidence, it might lead to what I wanted. And in fact, I did get the opportunity to work remotely from Rotterdam, Netherlands. Look, if you ask and the answer is no, you didn't lose anything. You start with nothing and you end with nothing, but you didn't lose anything. So don't feel like the world is going to end if you ask for what you want and the answer is no or maybe, or the person doesn't respond. It's worth the risk, because what if the answer is yes? It can lead to higher levels of success. Very powerful. Fourth success tip from Brian Tracy that I'd like to share with you today is to find your balance point. Find your balance point. This is, again, easier said than done, because we all have stresses. We all have overwhelmed moments. I am often overwhelmed. This week, I've been overwhelmed with different responsibilities I've had. So it's a very, very normal part of the human experience. But what I've learned from Brian Tracy in terms of finding your balance point is that you have to simplify your life. And in simplifying your life, you can determine what is the best schedule that works for you. And then you can optimize your schedule around actually working less, but getting more done. So think in terms of value added, and how can you use your time in a more effective way to actually work less and get paid more. Work less hours, but be more focused in those hours, and then see higher levels of results. It's a very powerful tip that can lead to increased success in your life, because when you find your balance point, that's when things can start to fall into place. And again, I know this is easier said than done, and if you feel overwhelmed, I can relate to you. I feel overwhelmed all the time. But if you look for a way to optimize your schedule around what's best for you, that's how you can really, really succeed in life. Final tip from Brian Tracy in terms of achieving success that I would like to share with you here today is to forgive. To forgive. Now, we all get burned by other people. It's again part of the human experience. We've all encountered difficult people, jerks, bullies, people who put us down. And I've learned from one of Brian Tracy's YouTube videos that it's very important for your peace of mind to forgive those who have hurt you. And what Brian Tracy will say, and what you can repeat in your mind, is, I forgive the name of the person completely, I let it go, and I wish them well. I forgive them completely, I let it go, and I wish them well. One tip I'd like to add on to that is that also be sure to feel the feeling. Don't disregard your feelings, but after you've felt the feeling and you've gone through the emotion and you've reflected on it and you've learned from the experience, forgive that person. Now, this is an example of me sharing something that I can also work on myself. Now, I'm not one to hold grudges, but there are people I can forgive at a deeper level, and I can let it go even more than I already have, and I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress like everyone else. So as you learn to forgive, you can definitely increase your levels of success so that you're no longer holding on to anger and resentment, because anger and resentment can actually impede your progress and slow down your success. Definitely hope one of those tips have benefited you. Now, I want to quickly add in at the end of this video my own 5 tips for success as an author, speaker, and leadership expert. My first tip for success is to pull your self-worth away from the external world. Remember that your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. Your self-worth doesn't depend on what other people think. It doesn't depend on what other people say or do. Now, be respectful to others, but remember that who you are as a person, your true worth, is derived from within. And no matter what people say or do, it doesn't take away from your worthiness. Even when people knock you down, even when people criticize you, and even when people are acting in strange ways to you, which of course, as you know, in our world can definitely happen all the time. My second tip for success is to stay on an even keel. Stay on an even keel. So the way I like to remind myself in my own mind is never too up and never too down. We all have ups and downs. Life is a roller coaster, and you will have moments when you're up and you will have moments when you're down. What I'm saying here in terms of your long-term success is to catch yourself when you're too down, bring yourself up a little bit, and to also have that awareness to catch yourself that when you're too up, realize, okay, it's good that I'm moving forward and achieving goals, but don't get overly excited. There are still bumps in the road to come. So pull yourself down a little bit and just stay on a neutral level, never too up, never too down. This also works really well at dealing with rejection. If you get a no, just stay level. Every no is one step closer to a yes. My third tip for success is to manage your time better. Manage your time better. I see a lot of people who tell me, Jeff, I have no time to write a book. It's impossible, it's so big of a task, I can never do it. And these are the same people, no judgment here by the way, just an observation, who are gossiping about others, who are wasting their time during the day. Look, if you have 15 minutes for a coffee break, you can also take 15 minutes in a busy schedule to work on your next project, whether it be a book, or perhaps it's doing a video like this, maybe it's a hobby you have or a passion project. It's anything that you like doing, but just find those little segments of time in the day to really utilize your time in a better way, to manage your time more effectively. Very powerful way to take your success to the next level. Two more quick tips for success from me, and that would be number 4 is to meditate. Meditate. Actually, this ties into what Brian Tracy teaches as well. Brian Tracy will teach you to go into the solitude, to go into the silence, and this also comes for me from my own experience. I had a rock bottom moment in high school, and meditation actually saved my life. So meditation can help you observe your mind and your problems from a different point of view, and perhaps if you don't like to meditate, you can also consider praying. You can also consider other forms of solitude. What I'm saying is to go into the silence and to use a guided meditation. This works well for me and for others, and to let your mind calm down. Now, I have a very active mind, so meditation will help me observe my mind, and it can perhaps help you as well. And like I said, there are variations of meditation, like prayer, like solitude, that you can apply. And then my final tip for success, and this is something that I am living myself, is to reflect. I have a journal. I reflect all the time in the journal. What went well? What can I improve on? What can I do differently? How can I find that silver lining in this setback? How can I grow from this difficult experience? How can I better and more effectively respond to difficult people? Reflecting is a very powerful way to increase your levels of success and prosperity, because when you're reflecting and when you're growing from those experiences, you can then find that silver lining and take yourself to that next level of success. Really hope you enjoyed this video here today. I gave you 5 tips from success from Brian Tracy, as well as 5 tips for success from myself. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. I'm always pushing out lots of great free content. I will see you, my friend, at the mountaintop.